Hey guys, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley here, and I need to call a quick timeout, a brief timeout, because I wanted to tell your listeners what I have been telling Foley is Pod listeners for a while now about all the cool things happening over on adfreeshows.com.
The road to WrestleMania has begun, and in this ad-free show's exclusive, Tony and JR sit down to call the action from some of WrestleMania's biggest matches, including the end of The Undertaker's streak.
Hard-hitting war. I thought that Taker kicked out. I was wrong. And maybe that's because of my prejudice that I wanted to see Taker win.
Yeah, I would have liked to see 22-0 as well. But this is a historic moment. It really is, not only in WrestleMania history, but in all of pro wrestling, if you think about it.
What does everybody want? How about a sit-down exclusive with Al Snow, who discusses a wide range of topics, including his dear friend, Jim Cornette.
Jimmy knows and understands his gimmick, and he knows and understands what draws for him. And like any good worker, Jimmy's going to capitalize on it, you know, and a lot of what you see is not Jim Cornette. It's an aspect of Jim Cornette, and it's just an aspect that Jimmy's turned the volume up on, apparently, as the years went on, a lot, you know.
Ad-free show members recently sat shotgun alongside Kevin Nash for a live watch-along of his WWE Championship match against Shawn Michaels at In Your House 7. Catch the event now on demand.
Bullet. A year of brutal matches
was too much for the big man.
Too much for the big man's shoulders as he continually reached those shoulders into his pockets and came out empty from the amount of money that was paid him.
That's just a small taste, a sampling, if you will, of what we have waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from. 4. See for yourself why ad-free shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now, right now, at adfreeshows.com. Yeah.
As cold as a razor blade, as tight as a tourniquet, like the skin on a dying man. I don't want a piece of the world. I want the whole world. I make my own rules because it's much easier that way. Trust me.
What's up, everybody? I'm Marcus D'Angelo, and this is The Snake Pit. And of course, we're here with the man himself, Mr. Jake the Snake Roberts. And Jake, we have got one hell of a guest today.
Well, Marcus, to fuck up.
I should have started recording this about 15 minutes ago.
We're going to have a wonderful time.
We are going to have a great time. And I said a hell of a day, and it's kind of a pun. Because or a hell of a guest, and that is a pun because we've got the devil himself here who's joining us today to talk about your time together in Florida. And of course, I'm talking about Mr. Kevin Sullivan. Mr. Sullivan, how are you, sir?
It's Kevin.
And, Kevin.
Yeah, and it's great to be here. You didn't flip on the switch.
Can you believe that?
Could have browbeat you we went through an hour before you flipped it on.
Jesus Christ. Hey. I thought we were all good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're not in person because I saw what you guys did to Barry Windham down there in Florida, and I'm excited to talk
never
about
touched him.
I'm thrilled to talk about that because, guys, this is one of the most infamous battles ever in wrestling. Really fondly remembered by fans because it's the ultimate good versus evil. It's the son of a plumber, Dusty Rhodes, and the Prince of Darkness, Kevin Sullivan. Man, I know for sure that you guys have got some stories to tell.
Well, Kevin, tell me a question. I got to answer a question for me.
Yes, sir.
I was in Charlotte when I got the opportunity to come in. Had y'all picked me to come in, or
I wanted you to come in, and I know Dusty wanted you to come in.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because I was there by myself at that time, and he said, who would you like to have? I said, I know we probably can't get him, but Jake would be great because I'd seen you before. And he said, I think I can get him. And I don't know if he probably called you. But
yeah, I don't remember.
It just clicked. And
Oh, it did.
yeah, but the thing
it was
is,
so much fun, man.
I'm
so much fun.
gonna.
It was great being around somebody where they don't consider me the biggest asshole in the room.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. But
Kevin's got me straight there.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. All the fans listening, I stole everything I could from Jake. I didn't have working ability, but that isn't a sad thing because I can't name two guys that did or do, but his interviews. And I always say, if a young guy asks me about interviews, I say, if you're going to be a heel or a babyface, but especially a heel, you just have to watch Jake. I said,
yeah.
I watched somebody, I said, in our era before that, and even today, guys sometimes try to be, I'm going to kill you, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
With Jake, you have to tell people to shut up in the room that was sitting at home watching the TV and turn it up. I can't hear what he's saying. Yeah. I mean, he was so far ahead of his time that I know this for a fact, and I just found out, Jake, that Randy too got booed out of the building when he was a babyface with you. And Savage, yeah. The people after a while, and again, it was a different era. After a while, even those people back in the day, they respected him and enjoyed his performance so much, they started cheering for him.
Appreciate
you were so damn good, you could have had a run with Hogan forever.
I don't know, bro. You know?
I mean, they booed you because they were afraid to book you with them because they're afraid you're going to have him get booed out of the building, right?
That's true, man. It happened twice. We went to Providence, Rhode Island, went out to the ring, and it was probably 40-60 my favor. And they got tired of the people chanting DDT, DDT, because they just would not shut up. That really sucks when you're in the ring and you're begging the fans to shut up.
Yeah.
You should be enjoying it.
And you know something? I mean, we all have to adapt, and it's a different time and a different era.
Oh, yeah.
Your daddy didn't work like you worked, and people before him didn't work, but I can't see how someone logically, in an illogical business, watches the DDT, which you said, I can't remember people chanting for a finish, right?
No.
The finish was a person by itself.
Right.
I don't know how you can how you protected and how you did it so well. How guys can go and bastardize it and use it for a false finish.
By 1982, it's you were talking about how Jake was really over with everybody, but by 1982, all of a sudden, you were about to really get over with this new character. America was swept by this kind of satanic panic following the Manson family murders, Son of Sam, Exorcist, all that kind of thing.
Some of my favorite people.
Well, you guys were peas in a pod with him in this era. Is it safe to assume, Kevin, that you got some inspiration from this stuff?
Oh yeah, and
tons.
The thing you forget too was MTV first started about that time, so there was Michael Jackson, Thriller, Billy Idol, White Wedding. Man. It was all that tinted that way, Ozzy Osbourne, all that, and then the horror movies became super big back again. So we kind of took from that,
It was awesome. And, I've heard Jake talk about it. I've heard a lot of other people in wrestling talk about it. Jake, can you maybe help contextualize just how much the character resonated in that area in Florida in 1982?
Oh, fuck, man. All I had to do was watch the devil. You know, I went out. I did a lot of the wrestling bullshit.
Yeah.
But Kevin would come in the ring so fucking vicious. See, I've never found that gear to be like him, because he had a special way of just, terrifying you, man. He was like a fucking psycho leprechaun coming at you and had fangs and teeth and dildos and whatever, and he would hurt you with them.
With those dildos, you got to be careful with those
Oh
dildos.
my God, tell me.
But it was it was a really good mix, because, like I said, nobody can work like Jake. Okay. And his talk was just, he set the bar. I think he set the bar in the industry for a long time on everything. But it was a nice mix and blend, because we kind of, he certainly helped my working ability in the ring, because he was so good. So he allowed me to do my stuff. But I used to sit there and watch him. You know what I mean? I said, God, he looks like he's killing him. Sometimes he did, I'm sure. but I mean, we
might have a clip of that. See how I segue that?
So how about that? Jake, pretty experienced. Now, I do want to say before we get there, though, you returned to Florida here in 1982, and it was so masterfully done, because, Kevin, you were this really kind of unassuming babyface type character. You're putting over the territory, saying all the best wrestlers in the world. And then Steve Kern came out and he said, there's something off with this guy. And nobody was really kind of buying it. And it just brilliantly set up. And from the very beginning, was the Satanist character in your mind, like before you even came back to the territory?
No, I thought about being a heel, but then, I got to Florida, and we got to, we can't forget what other era it was. Miami was built on powder, right? I mean, people are running around, the new, was it the Time magazine came out and said it was actually good for you? It was not addictive. Remember that? So, I mean, everybody had their screw.
I'm stuck with it.
Yeah, everybody had their screw twisted a little. But when I got there and I started seeing I said, I had worked with the Barry and Blackjack Mulligan up in Knoxville for a while. And I was a heel there. And I said, maybe I could split the dressing room, where half the dressing room, like Mike Graham and some of the other guys, baby faces like me, but Barry and Blackjack didn't. And I said, if I start this real slow, I mean, I just didn't walk out with my eyes painted and face on. I did it slow. I think I probably picked that up from Jake before he even got there. It was
probably 6 weeks, I bet you.
Yeah, I just introduced that character slowly, where people are starting to say, whoa, you got the good guys saying that he's no good. He's starting to sound strange, and I started muttering some stuff. And then Gordon, who was the greatest of all times, him and I started to have this little repertoire going back and forth, where he was questioning me. I'm saying, well, you've never done anything wrong, Gordon? Yeah, I've admitted I've done anything wrong. But can't we turn the page? And I mean, it was pushed. And that's Jake's psychology too.
That's sweet, man.
It was
when
great.
You take something and you build on it for several weeks, what you're doing is you're making the people think. And if you're making the people think, guess what? They're going to buy a ticket. Because they're thinking about this shit. They're thinking about which way is he going to go? What the fuck is going to happen? Oh, he's not a heel. Blah, blah, blah. And he set it up perfectly. They took weeks to do it.
Right.
And then they had me go out to Gordon Sully and bring up Nevik Novelis.
Yeah.
Because his name spelled backwards. Is that cool or what?
Just incredible, especially because, again, during that era, it was the whole that Beatles thing where they said if you played the White Album backwards,
right.
Paul is dead.
Right.
Paul is dead, yeah.
Really incredibly done. And what else is cool is they start tag teaming with you to kind of reinforce this whole babyface thing. You start tag teaming with this young second generation wrestler by the name of Barry Windham, and he was kind of associated with the family, which is Dusty Rhodes and Mike Grant. As it would turn out, somebody referring to themselves as the Bone Buster would put a bounty on Wyndham, awarding $1,000 per broken bone. And who comes claiming this? But that's right, the man himself, Mr. Jake the Snake Roberts. And that's going to be our first clip this week. Is Jake?
Devastating blow that high knee was. That must have been an unbelievable amount of punishment for Barry Windham to take. I can't believe he's still conscious.
Supplé, but the bell, I believe I heard the bell. Yes, sir, the bell has rung. The bell has rung, and Roberts totally frustrated. Roberts, I think, felt that he had him. Barry Windham, groggy and dazed.
Let me tell you something right now. I came here. I went through all the channels. I did it the right way. I did it the Championship Wrestling of Florida's way. I asked for 30 minutes. I spent my time and my money.
Well, 10 minutes is all the time we had, sir.
Ain't enough, Jack. I'll show you what 10 minutes is.
What's he talking about? Ooh! Good Lord! He just drove.
Now, the next time I ask for something, whoever you are, because it don't matter to me, Jack, you be sure it gets done. Right now, why don't you go take care of that punk? Because I came here to get rid of him, and by God, that's what I'm going to do.
Man, just phenomenal stuff. Who came up with this?
Who was that guy? I tell you what, me watching that, if I was a chick, I'd fuck him. Yeah. Fucking right. Oh, Barry did a wonderful job. We were made to work with each other. It was just so much fun. It was easy. We both sold our asses off. There was no struggle in the ring to do anything. He just kind of followed me along, and we just played.
All right, guys, let's take a quick pause to talk about our pals over at athleticgreens.com. Guys, if you want to stay active and make an investment in your health, there's just no better solution than AG1 by Athletic Greens. For me, it's been about 5 months now since I started using AG1, and the difference I've experienced when it comes to energy, health, overall wellness, it's unbelievable. We used to joke that Folgers was the best part of waking up. Not anymore. We're talking about Athletic Greens now. Gone are the days of waking up and taking a bunch of multivitamins and supplements every single morning just to get myself where I need to be. No more. I'm done adding a million ingredients to a blender to make myself a healthy shake, and then you got to clean that thing out afterwards. AG1 makes it easy because it's just one scoop, you shake, and you enjoy it. That's it, guys. With one delicious scoop of AG1, I get 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens, and just start my day off on the right foot. These ingredients support my gut health, my nervous system, immune system, recovery, focus, and most importantly for me, it was always about the energy. In just a couple months, I'm a new man, and I really believe that it has everything to do with AG1. It's become part of my daily routine. I can't imagine starting the day without it. It's easy, it's convenient, and most importantly, guys, it works. They've got more than 7,000 five-star reviews. That's 7,000 people that went out of their way to review this thing and say that it's as great as I'm saying it is. You've just got to try it to believe it. And guess what? It costs less than $3 a day. That is a very small price to pay when it comes to making a true investment in your health. It's time, guys. Come on. Go and reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. I mean, you can't beat that deal. Just get started over at athleticgreens.com/snake. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/snake, SNAKE, to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Whether it was work out this way, we wound up doing a lot of singles, and Barry and I would go out and put in 30 or 40. And then fucking Kevin Sullivan and Dusty would go to the ring and put in fucking 7 and tear the fucking house down. Yeah, 8 with your fucking walk back.
Yeah.
Barry and I would be sitting there. We haven't even got our boots off. We're still not breathing hard from the match. And these guys are walking back in saying, what a great show. Hey, what a fucking rebel me.
Hey, but you know, Marcus, when you look at them perform, if at that period, if there was a better two guys to work together with, I don't know who it would have been.
Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, he was, I used to watch them work, and Jake would do something, the referee would be distracted, and then he'd throw him over the top, and Barry could fly over the top and not touch it.
Yeah.
And girls would just about pass out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh.
Over the top DQ, man. It's so easy to get heat with that.
Yeah.
Just incredible. And to Kevin's point, you guys were natural opponents because you're like roughly the same size and height, body type, and you're both second generation wrestlers, both really skilled in the ring. Like it was kind of a match made in heaven. And here it's revealed that Kevin Sullivan has actually brainwashed Jake once this whole this whole heel thing kind of comes to fruition. It's amazing storytelling, and I have to ask, once you two get together, it's incredible chemistry. What would either of you attribute that to?
The ribs.
Yeah, and I think that
I want to hear about the ribs.
I think that Jake and I have been around a lot of smart guys, and we saw what got over, and we knew that less is more, but you got to tell a story. And if you get them to listen to what you're talking about, and if it half-ass makes sense, like Jake said, they're going to pay to come in the building.
Well, and it's
blast doing it, man.
It made sense and really resonated with people. You didn't just turn heel, Kevin. Your promos became like really bizarre. You started rambling about like ancient temples and talking about eating a cosmic cookie.
Yeah.
Listening to dark voices.
King Curtis.
Yeah.
You've got like a bone necklace, the X painted on your forehead like Charles Manson. It's such cool stuff. And yeah, again, let's put it in context. This is Florida in the 80s, a very conservative era. And it's rooted in religion down there. Kayfabe is still very much alive. It's so to say that this angle got heat would be an understatement, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
Now, Kevin, is there truth to it? I've heard about you going out to like grocery stores, going out to gas stations in full gimmick.
I wouldn't put the face paint on, but I did wear my robe just about everywhere I went. I always thought about this. If I'm supposed to be this insane person that wears the black robe on TV, how can I have a polo shirt on?
Yeah, you kill it.
Yeah. I mean, and you got to realize how provincial Tampa was at the time. You know what I mean? It's probably, Tampa. I remember, Jake, and you probably do too. Marcus, are you aware of the Buck Stadium where it is on Del Mabry?
No, I've never been to the area.
It's on one of the main streets in Tampa.
Yeah.
I remember when there was nothing north of that building.
That's
now,
crazy.
There's millions of people living out there now. So that people, even though Tampa was a big town in Florida, it was a small town because if you went out, there was only limited places to go. And everybody would see you. They see you driving. They see you at the store or something. So you had to. If you wanted to kind of stretch the limits, you had to stretch the limits.
It sounds like you did. And so, Jake, you had talked about some ribs that maybe connected the two of you. I want to hear those stories for sure.
Well, you remember Fonz. Everybody remembers the Fonz, man. We had a deal, man. Instead of us driving our own automobiles to go to the town, we decided to rent cars from budget. They would actually rent us a fucking Lincoln Continental town car for like $120 a week, and we just drive the piss out of it, man. You know, 300-mile trips wasn't nothing new to us. I'm talking 600 miles for the day. If you went from Tampa to Miami, that was 600 miles for the day.
Yeah.
And usually you had been at the office all morning cutting your interviews for the next week.
Yeah.
That was so fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
But we would do that trip, brother, and the shit that you would do just to make things light,
Yeah.
But check this out. Me, Kevin Sullivan, and Fonzie. Now, who would be the fourth member? Mosca.
Yeah.
Big Ange. What a dickhead he was. He was fucking brutal, man.
Yeah.
He was a bully.
Yeah.
You know? He was a big
nasty.
bully. Oh yeah. He buffaloed a lot of fucking people.
Yeah. Yes, he
but
did.
we had Fonzie in the car for us. We had a rule in the car. You couldn't set anybody's hair on fire unless they were driving. That was the rule.
Yeah.
And somebody's hair was always catching on fire. It's the weirdest thing, man. I always blame that on Kevin.
Yeah.
Well, he was the devil.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks pretty cool at night. Do it in the car. I remember one time, man, I can't remember what had happened, but Jimmy Garvin had fucked with one of us. I think he fucked with Kevin. I can't remember for sure. But man, we wanted to get him and get him bad, you know, with a nasty rib. So we set his fucking ass up. First thing we had to do is get him in our car, which it wasn't going to be easy. Because number one, you can't really ride with the heels. He was a baby face. So we got to watch that. But to get him to want to come, we told him we were going to watch a show. These girls had a birthday between them, and they were going to put on a show for us.
That would do it.
Jimmy Garvin freaked out. He had to see this shit. So now we got him in the car. And we're driving and we're driving. We got to drive like 150 miles before we're going to get to the place they're doing it. So we drive and drive and drive, and we're talking. And Kevin gets Jimmy to talk about his near-death experience. Jimmy had a near-death experience scuba diving in the sinkholes in Florida. And he'd gotten turned around in one of those fucking holes and was lost and running out of fucking air. And he almost suffocated and drowned, man.
Holy shit.
But he swears up and down that he's seen, you know, the walls were starting to close in on him and things were getting smaller and there's just a light in front of him. Well, Kevin got into talking about this shit because, you know, we're stoned anyway. And Jimmy's rattling now, man, because he's got us all on the edge of our seats. And then Kevin says, wow, this is a great day. What a great day for a birthday. And he fucking takes a 2-pound package of flour and just bombs Jimmy Garvin's head with it. Now, Jimmy Garvin had that great big full hair, remember?
Right. Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, you could almost make a cake if you had some, I don't know. And boom, here comes the beer on it. Just emptying beer cans on him, man. Oh, don't forget this. Kevin hits you with a dozen eggs.
Yeah.
And just does his hair a couple of times, right? We're all laughing our asses off. We're all covered with fucking flour. And we pull over at some truck stop because Jimmy's hair is hurting. because the yeast and everything's rising.
Oh my God.
You know, and his head's turned into a great big giant shit, you know. So we pull over to a truck stop and they take a water hose to him, man, and get a lot of it off. But the next morning, man, I went out there and looked at that car. Holy fuck.
Oh.
There was like 7 inches of dough in the carpet, on the seats. Oh my God. I can't remember what it cost to get that son of a bitch clean.
Oh no, is it your car?
Or if we even cleaned it. So that closer to the truth.
Wow. I don't know what Jimmy Garvin did, but holy shit, did he pay?
Oh, we got him good, man. We got him good. We were driving one time across there, Alligator Alley, man, and we had it was a Plymouth station wagon. You know, the old station wagon looking things. And it was a Plymouth. So we're driving and somebody runs over a fucking alligator.
Yep.
So we back up, get out, make sure it's dead, and throw him in the back of that fucking car.
What'd you want to do with him?
We were just gonna take him home, man. It's like a 7 or 8 foot alligator, you know.
Okay, he could like mount the head or something.
Oh my God, you know, and there was room for it right there. You could reach over the seat and pat him and everything. We're all fucking talking about we can make up this line, we can make up this line, man. And then all of a sudden we hear a that motherfucker wasn't quite dead. No, he was coming back, bro.
Yeah.
So we had to go ahead and kill it, man. But then we got to Tampa, and Fonzie's out in the front yard wrestling this fucking alligator. Got his fucking mouth open, his hands in it, you know.
Fonzie actually got a pair of boots made from it.
Did he?
What it was when we ran, we either hit it or someone right in front of us hit it, but it just glanced them, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was knocked out unconscious, right? Like
Yeah.
it did. We threw it up, and like Jake said, we're driving down the road, we're talking, and it's like one of those horror movies. What did you say? I didn't say nothing. Did you say something? No. Whoa! You turn around, and it's smacking its tail. And hissing. Oh, oh, it's great.
Oh, it was fucking horrible, man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
only in Florida, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys, another quick timeout because we've got to take a second to put over our friends over at Jimmy's Famous Seafood and talk to you about how you can get their food brought right to your door. We're talking about the best in the country when it comes to making crab cakes, soups, chowders, oysters, signature steaks, plus desserts and gluten-free items. If you've got a dietary restriction such as celiacs, or maybe you just don't want gluten in your meal, they've got you covered, and it all tastes amazing. They've been in business for over 40 years and have been featured on Diners, Dine-Ins, and Dives, Beat Bobby Flay, and more. And Jake, our listeners across the country can enjoy what Jimmy's has to offer because now they ship their food nationwide. So, guys, we know that the Super Bowl is coming up. I don't know who's going to win it, but I do know that I am going to have the best food at the Super Bowl party because I'm ordering one of their gift boxes, and they have got some incredible options over there. How about the famous gift box? It's got 4 of the world's best colossal Maryland crab cakes, 2 different crab soups, crab dip, seafood seasoning, and their signature base sauce. Or hey, how about the tailgate bundle to make your football weekend complete with 2 pounds of wings, a rack of barbecue ribs, a pint of crab dip, and crab cake mix. Better yet, why not just go and create your own box and get absolutely everything that you want from their incredible menu over at Jimmy's Famous Seafood. And guess what? It gets even better. Our listeners can enjoy free 2-day shipping on orders over $125. That's nationwide shipping, guys. And all you've got to do is go to jimmysfamousseafood.com and use promo code SNAKE. That's jimmysfamousseafood.com and promo code SNAKE, SNAKE, and you can get free 2-day shipping nationwide. One more time, that's jimmysfamousseafood.com, and the promo code is SNAKE. So now, speaking of only in Florida, we did talk about you going out to the grocery store. Kevin, I have to imagine that some fans were not taking kindly to you being out and about in a fucking cloak.
Well, the thing with it, too, was I think it, like I said before, because it was so small, Tampa, and everybody knew everybody. You know, people, it's the story. Hey, I was there when I saw him in the grocery store. He was wearing his robe. They weren't there, but they told someone that told someone that told someone. So it gets around like that. If I had been in a 3-piece suit, the same thing would have happened.
Yeah, bad news though.
Yeah.
Kills his fucking gimmick.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember even in the WWE, Kamala, he dressed like Kamala. With
everywhere he went.
With a skirt, no shoes.
That's commitment, man.
Yeah, boy, Vince rewarded him for that, didn't he?
Yeah, that was we actually talked about that on the last episode. What a shame end of his life. Things did not go well. Yeah, Vince could have certainly done more. But so I do want to get back into Florida. You get programmed with Dusty, of course, after all this, and you're set for a lights out steel cage match. However, that wasn't the only stipulation. You'd have to agree to a loser leaves the state of Florida for 60 days match. The match would take place on Christmas Day, December 25th, 1982.
I was barred from the building also.
That's right. Jake was barred from the building. There's a bunch of Santa Clauses walking around. It's the Bayfront Arena in St. Petersburg, Florida. And Sullivan was quoted as saying it was the final chapter written at the Bayfront. We have a video of that night, which I'm about to show. But before we do, I do have a few questions. So it's an iconic angle. Who came up with this whole thing, Kevin?
I think Jake and I might have been talking about it, but it was Dusty too, because Dusty, you know, people always talked about Dusty not doing the job. He knew how to do a job. And this, I mean, we set this up with flashing lights. Dusty's going over. Dusty ain't leaving Florida. He never did. Jake's fired from the building, so I'm not going to get any assistance. I'm going to get my ass kicked, so they come to see him go over. And, I mean, we couldn't have set it up more brilliant.
Fantastically done. And was Dusty booking in Florida at the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but you guys had some input as far as storyline, character, etc.
Yeah,
he would listen to anything, man. He would listen to anything. And if he didn't like it, he'd just say, maybe that's a great idea, but I don't think it's quite the time for it. You know, he put you over before he told you no. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, and
it's better than hearing, that's fucking stupid, Jake. You know? No, baby, that's a wonderful, wonderful idea. It's got potential.
At least he's diplomatic.
Oh, fuck. What a worker.
Yeah.
Well, as promised, we've got the video, and our producer Dom is going to cue it up right now.
As he catches Kevin Sullivan coming off the ropes, Rhodes again beginning to feel the power surging through his body. And now watch this arrival of Santa Claus. An ersatz Santa Claus, and it certainly appeared that something transferred there, and suddenly you could now watch Rhodes suddenly dropped in his tracks. And just no telling exactly what it was. There's no telling, but it has Rhodes completely out. And there was no percussion to Rhodes's head. There was nothing. And now you see this ersatz Santa Claus and Kevin Sullivan disappearing from the scene together. It is obvious that his arrival at ringside was not coincidental, taking advantage over the fact that there were several Santa Clauses there. A situation, well, as you can see now, the concern and the consternation of all of the people who are filling the ring, trying to find out exactly what felled Dusty Rhodes in the manner in which it did. Well, the cameras followed Kevin Sullivan and this erstwhile Santa Claus back to the dressing room. And, well, what we're going to see right now is totally self-explanatory. Let's take a look.
That was it. Wow. Just something else. And you can see the fans grabbing at Jake once they realize what's going on. Can you guys talk a little bit about like what that night was like?
Yeah. Oh, it was crazy, man. For me, man, they told me wait at ringside for Kevin. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They just had me fucking give Kevin the gizmic, and he's gonna fucking beat Dusty in the middle in Tampa, Florida, in St. Pete on Christmas night, and Santa Claus is gonna screw you. Oh my God. Yeah, getting in the locker room was a lot of fun. Yeah, wonderful.
You know what I noticed there?
I noticed how quick you were to get up that fucking aisle, I'll tell you.
Yeah, but I noticed something else. I'm going to get to that when we get to the balcony. How when Dusty fell, it wasn't a wrestling bump. It was like he just it was like he OD'd and passed out. You know, and he took me down with him. So, and then Gordon erstwhile, Gordon could go to a murder scene where someone was boiled in his own fingernails and come up with this monotone voice to sell it. But
he's too much.
Do you remember what happened when we got to the?
Yeah, something happened. I got hit in the head with something.
No, what happened was St. Pete used to have a balcony.
Right.
So when we get there, you were in front of me. I was behind you. I'm trying to catch up. And a guy stood up. You remember this? And said, fuck Santa, and jumped out of the balcony.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He landed in between me and you and broke his legs.
Yeah.
All around.
It was great.
Yeah. Christmas night, you
And
go
then-
out with your family, you yell, "Fuck Santa."
Yeah,
What a
then
way to
we're
end
then
it.
we're in the locker room and we're hearing fucking people outside. We want to kill Santa. Fuck Santa. Fuck
Yeah.
Santa.
Oh,
The next day, I read in the Tampa paper. That's something I always used to do back in those days when they had a good newspaper. I'd read the Tampa paper, man. You know, the night after. And if you made the paper, brother, that was sweet.
yeah.
And they're talking about there was 3 or 4 guys dressed up like Santa Claus, got shit beat out of them. Merry syphilis, happy gonorrhea.
You know what else? This was it was either your idea or Dusty's idea. The thing he did was he had those other Santas out all night.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just one Santa. There was like 4 of them. And then when Jake came out, it wasn't no big deal. Do you know what I mean? They've been there from the beginning. He set the, like in the movies now, the Easter egg. The Easter egg was set way at the beginning of the movie. And it was just I'm laughing.
Yeah.
After Jake hands me the gimmick. After Jake hands me the gimmick, about 4 people in the front row coming from the back. Brother, he fought them off. I mean, that could have been a very dangerous position.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, you saw in the video there, like even it's right before he hands you the gimmick. They see what's happening and they're starting to snatch it, Jake.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man. What was it like leaving the arena that night?
Oh,
it wasn't too bad. The cops were there, man. They had good cops there, man, and they took care of us. Unlike another place when you work in Florida I went to, and we'll talk about some other time, but the lovely Nassau, that fucking building. Holy shit. Being in the prison yard would have been 5 steps up from where we were at. The whole outside of the building is covered with broken glass. It's stuck in the cement. That way you can't crawl the walls.
Oh my God.
But they sit on
They still did.
And
They'd go up there and be sitting on them. And then they had some big trees that were close by to the fucking locker room too. And they'd get up in those motherfuckers. But that's not enough. Throwing rocks ain't enough. No. They got something called a fucking frisbee-like thing. And what it was a big square of fucking roofing. Those big squares. And they'd zip them. And those things just come in from the weirdest fucking angles, man. And just knock the dog shit out of you.
Yeah.
Damn it, I've already told half the story. But anyway, I got stuck over there wrestling Skip Young. Thank you, Kevin. Great booking. Kevin and Dusty weren't there. So I got Skip Young. Well, I put his ass over and they still nearly killed me. Getting up the aisle was a son of a bitch. And then once I got in the locker room, they broke the fucking windows out that had been covered in board. They ripped the boards off and then were throwing half bricks at me. Oh my God. And I'm trapped in this small fucking room. So I grab them. They got a wrestling pad in there. So I'm making myself a wall. So I'm holding that fucking thing here in the thump, boom, thump, boom. And the cops start throwing the shit back out. I'm like, don't throw that shit out.
You're just going to piss them off.
Again, motherfucker. Oh my God. Yeah, I got about 12 stitches that night.
Wow.
I got something dropped on my head, man.
Yeah, they did, Haku. How everybody talks about Haku being the toughest guy in the business. I saw something that I guarantee you made him the toughest guy in my eyes. They used to sit, like Jake said, we had a little dressing room that was like a storage unit, but it was a little bit bigger. It was an old conch storage house. They'd sit on the roof of that place, and we'd have to run in. As we run in, and they had umbrellas too, and they'd stab you with the umbrellas. As I'm ready to go out, and I see Ming coming back, and all of a sudden they threw a cinder block and hit him on the shoulder from the roof. He dropped to a knee, but he just shook it off and came in. If they had hit him in the head, it would have killed him.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the craziest place I've ever wrestled.
Oh, it was rough, man. It was rough. I'd like to see a handful of the guys today go through that experience.
Ooh, man, I
maybe,
cannot.
Maybe they've learned how to work.
Well, so the whole match, it turns Dusty into the Midnight Rider, as we all know, because he was supposed to leave the territory, but he comes back as the Midnight Rider. What do you guys think of that gimmick?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I did too. And Dusty, he has a part of him. He thinks he's reincarnated Jesse James,
Yeah.
And that he loves that. And he got Willie Nelson to do some stuff from. So he was in his glory. But I got to tell you something about the Midnight Rider that was one of the most funniest things I ever saw in my life.
What's that?
He did that angle in Charlotte too later on.
Yeah.
In the late 80s. Right before, I guess it was right before Jimmy sold out to Turner. So do you remember in Greensboro, Jake, you went up a slight elevation. It was like, it was a cement elevation about 5 feet high.
Yeah.
And, you get through it was a ramp going up, and then you get to the building, and the line was cement too.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna try something new. They're gonna show a guy coming in from the entrance, the Midnight Rider, on the horse coming.
Oh, fuck.
You know what happens? As the horse goes up, he's got metal shoes on the horse, horseshoes.
Slides.
The horse is slipping all the way down. By the time,
I fucking love it.
It never got to the top of the ramp. By the time Dusty got off of it, Dusty's feet were on the ground and the horse's legs were bent. I thought, I know everything's so perfect today, but
sometimes it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll give the dream that one.
All right, by now, guys, I love talking about old wrestling. What you might not know is it's not my real passion. My real passion is helping people save money. My real passion is getting families out of apartments and into houses. My real passion is getting people's finances aligned so they can retire on time. I hated going to Walmart and seeing the greeter being 80 years old. She should not be working. She should be home. Why is she still working? Because she still has a mortgage. I want to help avoid that for you. The other thing I want to help you with, let's make sure your kids don't get saddled with student loans. If you've got a student loan, why did you get one? Maybe because your parents still had a mortgage. I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm being sincere. There's only so much money to go around. What I want to help you do is figure out where you are right now and where you want to be long term. And I do it at SaveWithConrad.com. I've been doing mortgages for more than 20 years. And during all that time, we've helped tens of thousands of families change their life. I mean, routinely, we're helping our podcast listeners save $500, $600, $700, $800 a month. But more importantly, get them out of debt faster and with cheaper monthly payments. But if you don't think it can happen for you, let me just tell you this. We are not the bank. We don't say no. We say not yet, but here's how. We're going to get you a game plan on how to improve your credit, how to save a little bit of cash, and how to get into that dream house. Maybe you're already in the house, but it would be nice if someday we could put a pool in the back, or one day we want to upgrade to hardwood floors, or remodel the kitchen, or get a badass master bathroom. I can help you do all of that with no money out of pocket right now at SaveWithConrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket. And if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. Check it out, SaveWithConrad.com, NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. And hey, y'all, don't take my word for it. Check us out. We've got an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. And as if that's not enough, go look at our reviews. Read them and weep, haters. ConradReviews.com. You'll see more than 1,000 5-star reviews. Our average review is 4.72 stars. Find out how much money you can save. Take control of your life in 2023 by taking control of your finances. We're going to show you how to keep more of your own money. If you've got credit card debt, what are you paying on that? 14%, 28%. You know you can do better. With the mortgage, though, you may not know this, the interest you pay is tax deductible. And we can even show you how to skip your next 2 house payments. So if you can get a lower monthly payment, pay your debt off faster, get a greater tax deduction at the end of the year, and right now, right after the holidays, skip your next 2 payments, buddy, this is the biggest no-brainer in the history of the world. Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. Or hey man, shoot me an email directly, conrad@savewithconrad.com.
I will say this: it's the feud continues for a while, and you guys are trying to prove that it is in fact Dusty Rhodes under the hood. But then Ric Flair comes into the territory and kind of scoops the heat a little bit. He comes in and Dusty gets a world title shot. JJ Dillon offers him $50,000 to prove it's not the Midnight Rider. So the feud is temporarily transferred.
But Jake and I were involved in that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the thing was, Dusty won the title. And Geigel said he had gotten a telegram from somebody, and it was me and Jake, that said, okay, you can have a masked wrestler be the world champion, but he has to show the NWA president who he is. And Dusty wouldn't because he'd be suspended. So he had to give the belt up. So it kind of elevated us too to get the
assholes.
Yeah,
it did. Yeah. And you guys weren't exactly sitting on your hands either when he was wrestling Flair. I've got here in my notes that just shortly before Jake would have left the territory, you guys teamed up in this crazy match. It's a bunkhouse match against Barry Windham and Andre the Giant. What do you guys remember about this match?
Fucking nothing. Thank God. Because I know I got my ass kicked. I know. Kevin, what the fuck?
That was Dusty, Jake. And boy,
Jesus
I can remember
Christ.
that. I can remember that. And the worst thing in the world, Jake and I we got the bunkhouse shit on our boots and jeans and our flannel shirts on. Out comes Barry, who looks like a movie star, and Andre the Giant with cowboy boots on.
We didn't have a chance.
Shirt that doesn't fit him, and he's drank about a crate of wine. Oh God! Me and Jake bounced around like we're
pissing
handballs at
ourselves,
the
man.
YMCA. Oh God!
Sometimes shit will be happening out there that you people have no idea what's going on, but we're seeing some crazy ass shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen pretty near everything.
Yeah.
When I seen Mabel, not Mabel, but oh Jesus Christ, Moolah's girlfriend. What was her name?
Mae Young.
Mae Young. When she gave what's his name the face fuck in the corner, man. That was when I was done, man. They'd gone too far.
Yeah.
So rumor has it.
Patterson.
Rumor
no
has
panties
it.
On.
Rumor has it she stuffed some sardines in her pants too.
Right.
But I'll tell you what. When I was doing research, I did a double take when I saw this.
So hot.
I did a double take when I saw this, a bunkhouse match with Barry Windham and Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Under those circumstances, is it Jake and Andre are kind of paired up for the most part, or is it Jake and Barry? You're with Barry.
Yeah. But the Giants still beat us both up.
Yeah, he whipped our ass.
Yeah.
Make no fucking yeah. He done exactly what he wanted to do, not a bit fucking more.
Yeah.
So, man, just wild. And Jake, as I noted, you weren't long for the territory. You'd be gone here in just I want to say it was just after February of that year.
Yeah.
So that would have been about 40 years ago right now. Do you remember why you wound up leaving the territory while such a red hot thing was going on?
I was having some emotional issues right at the time, man. I was dealing with a lot of shit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And just ready to go back to Mid-South.
Ready to go home.
Okay.
I need to get home. So
I got you. Well, so after Roberts would leave, Sullivan's Army of Darkness would just continue to grow. You got members like Purple Haze, King Curtis, Fallen Angel, Nancy, of course, and Billy Graham, which is a pretty interesting note. He was in kind of like a karate gimmick at the time. So Kevin, I mean, at this time, it just continues to pick up more and more momentum. What is the reaction like when you're out and about now? I mean, so we saw what happened here with Jake at the arena where he got attacked essentially, and you have to tell him these stories. What's happening with you once this devil gimmick carries on?
There were some towns that were tough. I mean, Orlando. There's a suburb outside of Orlando called Casadega. It's a town for people, mediums, people paranormal,
Oh yeah.
Well,
I remember that shit.
You remember that, Jake? And,
yeah, I do.
Later on, they would come and cheer me and Jake, and there'll only be 6 or 7 of them.
Sit in the first row wearing robes and shit, man. In Tampa, they were real bad about it, man.
Yeah.
There was a shit ton of them in Tampa.
I got one time, this is after Jake had left, they came, and if I was on last, I wouldn't rush out of there in Orlando because I didn't want them to sniper me.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting until the very end, and I'm getting ready to go to the car. And all of a sudden, I see this thing blow up. And this is when they had the fields in Orlando. The building was out in the field. And I'm driving around it, and I look, and they're beating these guys with 2x4s, and they blew up their van. So it could be a little tough in that place because when you think Florida, you don't think of where we were in Orlando. It was cowboy country, all cowboys.
We had Kitty Mac running around with a damn Bowie knife and a trunk full of automatic weapons.
My God.
He tried to talk us into going down to, what was it, Overton or over?
Yeah, over to Liberty City and Overton.
Everybody had an automatic weapon there.
Yeah.
Shit. And he wanted to go over there and see if he couldn't start a little something. What the fuck are you talking about? You got to remember, this guy's only got one. His legs, too, are shot. He was shot by bikers, right?
Yeah, he was in, you know who Don Fargo is, right?
Oh, yeah, that was Don Fargo.
Partners in Indiana, and they went as the Hells Angels.
Right.
Wrestling, and the Hells Angels told them no more of that bullshit.
Right.
So they were in a bar one night, and they said, "Oh, come back to our house." Well, when they walked in the house, the guys came in with shotguns, shot at both of them, hit Kenny Mac, and he went to the hospital, and he got an infection in his leg, and they started to carve his leg, the infection out of his leg.
Right.
Oh boy!
They basically skinned him alive.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It took weeks to do that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He had a bit of an edge.
It sounds that way.
Yeah.
It sounds like a story for the Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might be a little too stiff for Dark Side.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, Jesus.
My God. Well, Kevin, the rivalry between yourself and Dusty wasn't quite done yet. You would actually don a mask after getting suspended. You came back as Lucifer. He was doing the Midnight Rider. You guys had a lights out steel cage match again, where the loser on mask would be banned from CWF forever, and of course Dusty would win. It just, man, it's such great long-term storytelling done here with you guys. And I did want to ask, I'm not sure how much modern wrestling you watch. What do you think about modern wrestling as far as this kind of age of instant gratification, and there's really no dedication to long-term storytelling like this?
I'll let Kevin have that one.
I think the thing is, now that there's competition, that they're both so leery of anybody getting over because they're afraid to drop in the ratings at all. It isn't like when Jake and I were in our heyday that we're getting paid off for pay-per-views and we're getting paid off of the house shows. Now they're getting paid off of TV revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that proper planning prevents poor performance. I don't think they see far enough out I'm sure this is how Jake Mine works. So when he has an idea of an angle, he knows the end of the angle and backs it all the way up, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or whatever.
That's how you do it right.
Yeah, you can't write a book unless you know the ending of the book.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. They're under the gun so much. But the wrestling itself, there's some terrific in Jake in our day.
Oh.
So the guys with some of them were the shits. I mean, it gets progressively better and better, and taste change. I mean, back in our day when we were kids, the guys that came before us were telling us, "Oh, don't do anything. Don't do anything." They didn't want it. So, I mean, I think there's some very good stuff out there.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
I just wondered if you mixed a little bit of what we did with that, and then turn the knob back to maybe medium instead of hot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could come to an agreement there, but storytelling's a lost art.
Yeah.
Right now, and the interviews have a lot to do with it, and so do the personalities. These guys come on television every week, and they're given that time, and that time is expensive.
Yes.
When you start talking about 10 minutes of TV, running your fucking yap, you better be pretty fucking good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately for AEW, they have 2 or 3 guys that can do it.
Yeah.
You got what the hell, Kenny,
MJF,
and Jericho,
and they're still telling stories. Jericho is. If you watch Jericho's, when he hooks up with somebody, he's going to be hooked up with them for about a month, and they'll come on every week and do something, and they'll build it.
Yeah,
that's kind of the way he runs, and I respect that. And I think AEW is very fortunate to have Chris.
Oh, I do too.
He's one of the better
and
storytellers around.
Bryan Danielson. I mean, they got some great talent.
Yeah, unbelievable talent.
I mean, I look at his work and I say, wow. And I mean, Omega. I mean, they got a lot of very good talent.
Yeah, Omega's pretty close to my favorite though. He's got something about him that's special.
Yeah.
Really
remarkable athlete. And Kevin, I saw recently where you were with another really great athlete, Karrion Kross. You did a little vignette with him, Jake. I'm not sure if you saw it; it was online. But Kevin, it was a little bit of a departure from your usual character. You came in as a priest.
Well, is it?
Say what?
Am I a priest?
That's blasphemy.
Am I a priest, or is it just I have that black robe again?
There you go.
Without a hood, it's all.
He's no longer in the hood.
Yeah, but I mean, you talk about a big, impressive kid. He's not a kid. He's 35 years old. Jake, he's 6'5", and he's got to be 275, and he's ripped. I mean, big. I look for that kid to go to Hollywood and be a huge star.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He looks like $1 million. Handsome, good head of hair, as you said, great build.
A lot like me.
We're describing Jake.
When I met him, he had the shaved head, right?
Yeah.
Now he's got the hair grown back because he's done a movie just recently. That's why he grew the hair back. Him and his wife are one of the most handsome couples I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's his valet, so they got a good thing going there. But he was nice enough to call me and ask me if I do it. And I said, yeah, I love it.
Well, it was so cool, and it's so cool of you to join us here today, Mr. Sullivan. I know you said call you Kevin, but I've got so much respect for you and everything you've done, and really appreciate you being here. What else is going on with you? I know that you've got a podcast yourself, right?
Yeah, Taskmaster Talks, but I've been doing some conventions, and I'm lucky enough that I'm down here in Florida to visit family. And I get to go to some of the local conventions here, and they have a lot in Miami. So I'm working out every weekend. I go out, and thank God it's, I'm home the next day.
That's what's wonderful, I hate that there's going to be a lot of people not being able to do what we're doing right now. Because I don't think the strength of the characters today is not there.
Yeah.
It seems to be a pretty flat lake. It's got some ripples in it. But man, with all the talent here, you know, be fucking going off every fucking week. I mean, you got shitloads of TV time, man. You can do good television. You can do good matches.
Yeah, I mean, what we talked about here today is a really good example of just what dedication to a storyline can do. It's remarkable. And hey, take a look at that thing. Is that available yet at jakethesnakeshop.com, Jake?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That thing is fantastic. For those of you who are just listening and not watching our podcast, it is like a bronze statue of Jake with half of his head is like a skull. There's a snake coming in. And
one in white.
That is awesome. He's got different colors, different variants of it. It is so cool. Made, of course, by the former Kazarni of WWE fame, Sin Bodhi. He makes all kinds of really awesome stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I've seen that he's made some Kevin Sullivan stuff too.
He's a very talented guy, huh?
He is.
He's a wonderful person.
Those are so cool. And they are up for sale right now at jakethesnakeshop.com, and Jake will sign it for you. Guys, we're having a blast here in the Snake Pit. I hope you listeners have been enjoying it as well. We've been posting about it on social media, but in case you've missed it, you can get your product or message on our podcast when you go to advertisewithsnake.com. If you're listening to this, there's a really strong probability that we're targeting the exact demo that you're looking to attract, and you will certainly see results from our loyal listeners. Again, go to advertisewithsnake.com and get your message in front of our giant network of listeners. We're constantly updating our merch over at boxofgimmicks.com. I'm wearing a shirt right now. It's Jake in the old ice cream bar. I know that Jake's wearing one too. And we've got all kinds of really cool stuff. There's a WrestleFest inspired mug, WrestleFest shirt, hoodie, hats, t-shirts, fanny pack, and much more. We've got a really strong emphasis on bringing you guys vintage looking merchandise that acts like kind of a love letter to fans from the 80s and 90s. So head over there and have a look. It's at boxofgimmicks.com. If you've got a question for Jake, you can drop it over at Snake Pit Pod on all social media platforms. We'll do our best to answer it on one of our Ask Jake Anything podcasts. And check us out on YouTube over at youtube.com/@SnakePitPod. There's all kinds of short little sample size bites of our podcast that you can listen to and enjoy over there. If you're enjoying us on a podcast platform, please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. And check out adfreeshows.com. You get all these podcasts early and ad-free. It's just $9 a month. Catch Jake on Twitter at JakeSnakeDDT, on Instagram at JakeTheSnakeDDT, and on Facebook at Real Jake the Snake. You can follow me at Marcus P. D'Angelo on Twitter. Mr. Sullivan, Kevin, again, thank you so much for joining us here today. It was awesome. It was enlightening.
Kevin, love you, brother.
Love you too, brother.
Take care, man.